Hi guys, I've been wandering around the cemetery for a long time trying to find specific memorial plaques for several people that I actually bought flowers for, some red roses in the shop in this cemetery. I bought some for 3 of the victims of Jack the Ripper, well 2 confirmed and 1 supposed victim, and also I wanted to find Joseph Merrick's marker. If you don't know who Joseph Merrick is or was, he is more well known by his supposed stage name, the Elephant Man. I've never visited Joseph's marker before, but it took me ages to find this place in general, and it also took me a long time to find Joseph's marker. I've never been so pleased to actually find something in my whole life. Yeah, I had trouble finding it, so I had to watch a YouTube video and try to find out. Oh, hope you can see me. To actually try to find out where it was, but I found it. Let me just turn it around and show you it. So this is Joseph Merrick's marker. Joseph Merrick, 1862 to 1890. So he probably would have been, what, about 25, 27. My maths is terrible, when he passed away. And in front of it there is this memorial marker in front of his actual marker thing. This one's a bit more, elaborate. And yeah, so yeah, I'm just going to leave one of these roses for him. I think I will leave this on the marker on where all these wood chippings are, in case they mow the lawn and they go over this bit. I'm sure they have a way of getting around this bit, but just put it on Merrick's marker. So there we go. Rest in peace, Joseph. And I also wanted to say as well that when I was thinking, okay, let me just get this YouTube video up, because I watched a YouTube video once before showing where the marker was, so that's how I found it in the end. So I thought, okay, let me just sit on this bench, it's in the shade, and let me just watch it, and then this is where the video started up, and I thought, okay, what's the chances of that actually happening? So this is the second marker that I wanted to come to. This is Catherine Eddowes, died on the 30th of September 1888. Not sure what number victim she was. I think number 3, could be wrong about that, probably am, but she was a victim of Jack the Ripper. So I just put a rose on her marker to show a sign of respect. So here is Mary Ann Nichols, died on the 31st of August 1888. So I believe that she was Jack the Ripper's first victim. So once again, they put rose on her marker. Try not to cover up her name, because that would be bad. So yeah, there we go. And here is the final marker that I've going to be paying my respects to. This is Martha Tabron, who was born in 1849 and died in 1888. She isn't a confirmed victim of Jack the Ripper. She's not one of the 5 that is confirmed to be one of his victims, but she is strongly suspected of being one of Jack's supposed early victims when he probably first started, or somebody that was very close to a killer that was very close to Jack's style of killing. She wasn't disemboweled or anything like that. I think that she might have been, but I'm not sure. I think that all she was happened was that she was a prostitute or a sex worker, and she took a client back to her place, and she was found the next day on the stairs with a throat cut. So yeah, it's not confirmed that she was one of Jack's victims, but again, I thought I would show my respects, and today I'm going to be putting 2 roses on her marker. And the reason why that is because I bought 5 roses. They came in a bunch, and I'm visiting 4 markers, so one of them has to have special treatment. And because Martha isn't one of the most well-known or visited places that people come to when they visit this cemetery, I thought I would show some special treatment to Martha. Hi guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do a silly little video, something I made up last year, so I thought I would carry on with it this year. Probably make it a continuous series every single year on my channel during this time, and that is shining some recognition on some horror channels, or channels that focus the majority of their time on their videos speaking about horror books. Some of these are popular channels, and some of them are real, small, just smaller channels. So I just thought I'll just talk about them, and yeah, these are 4 YouTubers that I recommend you watch during October and the spooky season. And they're just 4 channels that I feel that I wouldn't say best represent horror, because I mean there are loads of other horror channels out there that I watch, but these are the ones which I think that should have a bit more attention to them. So I'll have all these channels linked down below, so all 4 of these channels I would highly recommend. So the first YouTuber is called Sunnyvale Reject. Now he talks about a wide variety of things, but mostly horror and thriller. And he kind of groups his books together. So in one video he will talk about his collection of books from one author, and then in the next video he will talk about his collections for another author, or maybe the best children's books or whatever. He tries to kind of lump his subjects and what he wants to talk about into one video, rather than doing individual videos for each of them books, if that made any sense. He because he's a teacher, he talks a lot about children's horror books, which I absolutely loved. He got me into children's horror once again. And yeah, I think that going forwards in this new year, I think that he should focus more on trying to convince young readers and or people that don't usually read that much into horror, and kind of introduce books that he thinks that these types of people should enjoy or would enjoy. So what would a young child be more interested in reading, or what would a non-reader be interested in reading? Them types of things. So the next person I'm going to be shouting out is Lee's Book Corner. Now, when I first came across Lee's channel, I watched the first video that I watched was her booktube newbie tag, and you would think that she would be interested into romance and all that stuff, Sarah J Maas and all that, what I classify as about what I classify as fantasy trying to be dark and moody and grim, when it really isn't. Basically like Twilight was. But she is focusing more on books that people aren't reading, at all. Books that people haven't heard about before. I actually really like this. She's reading a lot of horror books. What she does is, when she's trying to get a TBR sorted out, she does this number generator thing, which tells her what book she's going to be reading, and that's a really interesting way of doing it. She's reading some interesting things this month, some werewolves books that I am interested to hear about what she thinks about. She says that she's into werewolves and zombies, but not really into vampires. But because this is a vampire month for me, I forgive her for that. But she says that she has a stutter, but I've never heard her stutter. I don't know, she probably edits it out. But coming from someone that does have a stutter, not all the time, I wouldn't really let that get to you. I know that it can be really off-putting sorry, when you're trying to talk to someone and you stutter, and then they lose interest and their eyes glaze over, and you're thinking, okay, they're looking somewhere else, they're bored, I've lost them. So I know how that is. But Lee is a very interesting booktuber. She's one that I always like to watch. I know that she'll be talking about books that I've obviously never heard about, but I know that there's going to be a time when she'll be talking about something that I will be interested in reading rather, and she'll get me into a book. Okay, so I had to move down here because a funeral service was coming near me and I wanted to show my respects. Lee's book corner, I forgot what her channel was called. I highly recommend her. Next is E.D.Lewis reviews. What else can I say about E.D.? What I will say is that if you're trying to get into gothic stories and or vampire stories, you can't go wrong with E.D. He's probably the best person to talk about this type of thing. He's probably the expert in all vampire literature and gothic stories about what to read, and I would love to see his recommendation lists. He is a published author and I've read a handful of his stuff, and he is, I believe, a poet as well, or if he's not a poet, he does have the heart of a poet. And even though his channel isn't all flashy and all expensive, and all these, he is a very entertaining individual, and he's a very laid-back individual. I think that's kind of lost on some YouTubers. They kind of get buried under the kind of weight of putting on this character and you know, hamming it up for the camera and to try to get more views, but he's actually just him. He just talks whatever he wants to talk about. So Ed, I would highly recommend him. And the fourth and final trick or treater that I am going to be recommending is, of course, Bad is Rad 2. I couldn't really do this list without mentioning Bad is Rad 2. I have been a supporter of her channel for a long time now. She did have a channel which was simply called Bad is Rad, but it got corrupted and she had to start again. And I've been a supporter of her channel, for a long time now. She is one of the biggest creative people I've ever seen on this platform, and her videos are outrageous. She has all these edits in her videos. She does all these crazy things in them as well, and she just has this carefree attitude where she doesn't really care about what other people think of her, and she just wants to talk about what she wants to talk about. Yes, her videos were horror based mostly, but she has got recently into horror fantasy rather. But I always think of Bad is Rad as a horror tuber. I just can't really recommend her enough. I mean, if you want to get some recommendations of books that are really outrageous and extreme and out of the norm, then you can't really go far wrong with Bad. But just be warned, a lot of the horror books that she does talk about have got a load of trigger warnings in them, so if you're very sensitive about that type of thing, then I would probably steer clear. So yeah, they are my 4 booktubers or my 4 trick or treaters rather, that I strongly feel that best represent the spooky season, and more importantly, booktubers which you should be watching during October, especially if you want to get some recommendations about horror books which you have never heard about, and watch some, in my personal opinion, some really interesting and entertaining people. So yeah, that's just been my video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Just been a bit silly little video. But as I said, I will have all these channels linked down below in case you want to check them out, which I once again highly recommend that you do. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video.